What's going on YouTube? So this behemoth of an SUV we're in today is one of the most recognizable on the road, the Ford Expedition. And this big behemoth has a lot of big competition, including the Chevy Suburban and Jeep Wagoneer. So, is this the best full-size SUV money can buy? Let's go ahead and find out. Now, like always, let's start off this review with our spec dump. So under the hood, this year, you'll continue to find the same powertrain option for this model year. You're looking at a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6 engine. This is gonna be making you 3 different outputs depending on which trim level you choose. This is gonna be the middle configuration, making 400 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque.
Now, as far as your transmission, it's a 10-speed automatic. You have 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive options. And as far as your fuel economy is concerned, you're sitting at 18 miles a gallon combined for this version right here.
Now, of course, we're going to show you all that performance out on the road because power is certainly plentiful. We're going to do things like get our signature sound level reading. But first, let's close up the hood and take a look at the exterior design. So is there anything new in terms of the front exterior design? No, there is not this year. That's not really a bad thing though, because this has always had a very handsome look to it, particularly after this model's refresh, and particularly if you choose this model we have today. This is the Platinum trim level. So Ford has really different fascias for each trim level. The Platinum, of course, is gonna give you the most bling. So you've got these large satin silver bars that are gonna run across the front here, and you have these little chrome accents that run all through the center of it, like I said, to give it a lot of flash in the design. Now, taking a look at our headlights, of course, you're going to have full LED headlights as standard equipment. These are reflector LEDs running through there. Your turn signal is located kind of in the grille, and then you've got this large daytime running light that runs around it in a bracket shape. Furthermore, down here inside of this chrome accent, you'll find your LED fog lamps. Now, as far as the rear design is concerned, nothing has changed since its last refresh.
Yeah, so you still have that squared off Expedition look, and especially here with the Platinum, it does have a premium vibe to it as well. But let's go ahead and see if all 3 elements are LED in this tail light. So we do have an LED brake light, an LED reverse light, and also an LED turn signal indicator. So 3 out of 3 elements are LED. We always test that out here at Car Confections, and I do like that they're including that. That's gonna be on limited trim levels and above. If you go for a lower one, it's gonna be incandescent. We have this chrome piece in the middle of the taillights, Expedition branding. Then dropping down to this lower area, this is all gonna be a nice satin silver finish for the Platinum model. As far as your tow rating, it can be 9,300 pounds if you opt for the heavy duty trailering package.
Now, as you'd expect for a large lineup of trim levels, you have a lot of different wheel choices, beginning at 18 inches and ranging up to 22-inch alloy wheels that you'll get standard on both the King Ranch and the Platinum trim level. As you can see, just like the front, these have a lot of bling. Now, I also want to mention color options. I'm surprised Ford did not add a bright yellow option like a school bus, because this is certainly about the size of a school bus. But instead, they added a new green color for 2024. This right here is jewel red, which I think looks pretty nice here on the Platinum. Now, as we scoot back to the mirrors, again, you have that silver finish up top. You are going to have heating and blind spot monitoring as standard equipment. Limited and above are also going to give you driver's side auto dimming and power folding.
Now, here at the side, you can tell that this Expedition in its max form is about as long as a line at the DMV, because there is so much space here on the inside, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Of course, the max is going to be longer than the standard wheelbase version of the Expedition, 221 inches long as compared to 210 inches with the standard wheelbase model. Now, I do also want to talk about your safety systems for 2024. Ford is going to be including 3 out of your 4 active safety features as standard equipment. Additionally, if you go for the limited trim level or above, that will throw in adaptive cruise control. Additionally, if you go for a higher end model, you will have Blue Cruise included as a 90-day trial, or you can option on a 3-year trial period for about $2,100 of that system. So certainly that's going to be a unique feature that you can get on this Platinum Expedition. But that's it for the outside, and if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
and we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to the interior. First, we'll take a quick look at the key fob. This is your typical Ford affair. You do have remote start built into the fob itself. And to get inside, just reach behind the handle. That's going to unlock the door. It will go ahead and fold out your power deploying running boards here on the Platinum trim level as well. And of course, looking at the interior, you're going to notice a lot of luxury, a lot of screens as well since that most recent refresh. And let's start off by talking about color and material choices. So what you're going to get is cloth seats on just the very most basic trim levels. Everything else is going to come with leather, either faux or real. It's of course going to be real here on the Platinum trim level. And we've got the special quilted design here on the bolsters. You also have Platinum branding up there at the top. This is the black color option. You do also have a couple other color choices, including a caramel. As far as the seats themselves, they're going to be 10-way power adjusting on the upper trim levels. We do have active massage as well here on the Platinum, and both Limited and Platinum will come with 3-person memory seating. But I'm going to go ahead and climb inside and we'll take a look at all the details. Now, of course, getting inside is going to be nice and easy, and you do have some animations that display up there. Now, looking at the rest of the materials inside of the Platinum, you're going to notice some pretty nice ones. Especially over here in the door trim, we have a lot of padded leather. We have this quilted section, full leather across the top if you like to ride like this with the stitching details. As we move to the upper dash, though, I am surprised they don't change this out from the lower trim. So this is all going to be a hard touch plastic until you get to this front section. This will be finished in a really nice leather trim, as well as down through here. We have a kind of a faux brushed aluminum. And then down here in the center section, we have a faux wood that looks pretty realistic and some more leather for your knee to rest against. Now to fire it up, of course, you do have push button start. And now, since we have the Platinum trim level, as the Little Caesars guy would say, we have the most bestest equipment available on the Expedition. So that's going to start here with our gauge cluster. We have the full digital 12.3-inch gauge cluster, fully reconfigurable as well, so you can change a lot of different design characteristics, check out things like towing and off-road right there in the gauge cluster. Just be aware that you cannot actually get a head-up display even here on the Platinum. Now you do have rain sensing wipers located over there. Sorry, wrong side. As far as the steering wheel, of course, it's nicely leather wrapped. You're going to have full power adjustment. You're going to have steering wheel heating. You have the Platinum Ford branding right there. And we even have the power adjusting pedals down here at the bottom. But this vehicle is all about storage, so let's get into that. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of it, including and especially inside of our center console. So if we move that out of the way, you have a ton of space. This is absolutely enormous. You could put just about anything in here. You do also have, looks like a 12-volt outlet down there at the bottom of that void. You've got your 2 cup holders underneath of that. And then you have a pretty large storage cubby in the front here with a wireless phone charging pad, a couple USB ports. You've got some storage down there along the sides. And of course, you're going to have plenty of storage over in the door trims as well. You have your traditional glove box, and you also have some storage above that. Now, we do have a pretty small and compact shifter on board. This is the Ford rotary style you've seen on a lot of their products. Just twist over for drive, press the M if you want to control the shifts manually. There are no paddles, but you have these little toggles right here. R, of course, is for reverse. Limited and Platinum grades will come standard with this 360 camera. The screen is obviously very large, so we have plenty of space to display both the traditional view as well as the overhead view, and you can change between some different angles as well. Of course, you also have an electronic parking brake. Back behind it, you have your 4-wheel drive controls and your drive mode controller. Now, before we get into the whole screen area, I do want to point out you have your Pro Trailer Backup Assist on this model, and you also have a trailer brake controller integrated right there. Now, this display, of course, is massive. The lower section is going to be dedicated to our climate controls for the most part. Very simple to adjust. You just tap right there. You can also quickly slide up and down if you need to make a large adjustment. 3-mode automatic as well, and 3 zones are going to be standard on all models. We also have heated and ventilated seats. Both of these are going to become standard once you get to the Limited trim level. Now, as far as the main display itself, I just want to go ahead and tell you how big it is. It is going to be 15 inches, so absolutely massive. You've seen maybe something like this when you're looking at the Mustang Mach-E, but the Expedition does have the full-sized unit here, and this is running the latest version of Sync. Inside of this display, you'll find a lot of different functionalities. We've got even games inside of it for when you are, of course, parked. You can actually mess around with that. You have wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. You do have built-in navigation, which you can access right through there. And as you can see, overall performance is pretty crisp and works quite nicely. One of the other things I like about this is the fact that Ford integrates in a physical volume knob into the display itself. So we can just quickly reach over there and turn up our 22 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system here on the Platinum model as well as the King Ranch. But let's give it a sample right now. You'd expect this sound system to be great, and indeed it is. It really fills up this humongous cabin very nicely. You have things like speaker grills located up there above your head. Before we move into the mirror, I do want to mention you got a little sensor right here as well as on this side. Those are going to be monitoring you for when the Blue Cruise system is active. We've got an auto dimming mirror up top. Your HomeLink remotes are going to be located inside the visor itself. And then I'll go ahead and slide back the sunshade for our panoramic sunroof. This is called the Vista roof, and it's going to be included on the King Ranch and the Platinum as standard equipment, but of course you can option it on to lower trim levels as well.
Now, of course, as you saw on the outside, this is a big SUV, so let's check out what you get in the second and third rows. Now, as far as the space is concerned, we're sitting at over 42 inches of leg room, 40 inches of headroom, which really does place this as one of the biggest options in the entire segment that you can buy, and it is just so spacious back here. I'm 5'9" for reference. My bendy ruler is a little curved today, but I'm going to try and get the measurement behind Drew's seating position, who is 5'8". We're sitting at about 11 inches of knee space. Very impressive, and my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. Additionally, I can slide my captain's chairs forward and back, as well as recline them a very good distance for some killer naps for your kids, maybe after they've had a long day at school. I want to point out captain's chairs are the standard seating configuration for the higher end models. I believe it's limited trim levels and above, and big thick armrests too. Now here in the center, we have cup holders in the middle. We also have our own climate controls. Those are standard on all Expedition models. Heated rear seats come on the limited trim level and above. We have a USB-C. We also have a household outlet as well. A little storage down here. It looks like we also have another 12-volt outlet, so you shouldn't run out of charge on anything. Up here in the ceiling, we have our vents that come out right there. Then let's check out our door trim. The door trim is going to be nicely appointed. Leather from top to bottom. Same quilting as the front. Leather on the armrest portion, and down in the bottom, we do have quite a bit of door storage. And now let's check out the third row. Spoiler alert, it is very impressive. So in order to get back here, you just grab this little lever right here that allows you to fold the seat up and out of the way and slide it. So not too hard to get back here, that's for sure. And sitting back here, how does it fall on our Car Confections third row scale? Well, this would have to be fit for a king. And I'm going to tell you why, because this third row is incredibly impressive. If you scooted these seats all the way forward, you could have up to 41 inches of third row leg room. Otherwise, you're going to have about 36 inches of space, which is really impressive. This seat is slid all the way back. Like I said, I'm 5'9". I still have about an inch or two of space. My feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. I am incredibly comfortable. The thigh support is superb. Here on the side, we have two cup holders. We also have these buttons right here. That allows me to power recline. My third row seat, super comfortable. We have vents out of the ceiling as well as USB ports here in the third row. So you are really fit for any type of adult back here in the third row. They're not going to be complaining much. And walking up to the cargo area, of course, that's a very important part of anything this large. You do have A really unique feature of the rear popping glass, independent from the tailgate, which I know a lot of you guys like. Additionally, we do have a power hands-free tailgate that's standard on most of the upper end trim levels of the Expedition. We actually, oddly enough, opted to delete the hands-free ability on this Platinum model, which is a no-cost option. Now, as far as the space is concerned, 36 cubic feet of cargo capacity behind the third row seats in this Max version. So certainly that's a lot of space. If I power fold it down, which by the way, a power folding third row is standard equipment on all Expeditions, I'm going to have about 80 cubic feet of space behind the second row. And if I pop those babies down, we have a maximum of 122 cubic feet of cargo capacity. So really absolutely absurd cargo capacity figures. If you can't fit it in this Expedition Max, the next step up would be a full-size semi-truck. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're curious as to how much the Max is benefiting over the regular Expedition, it's going to be about 15 more cubic feet as an overall maximum. Now, I'm going to try and get my ruler erect enough that I can get it all the way up to the front seat to measure from the front seat to the rear of the cargo area. We are sitting at 102 inches long. Incredibly long, guys. That actually means that you can fit a full-size mattress back here. And as far as the width of the tailgate area, we're sitting at, what does that say, 53 inches wide. So very wide and very long. This Expedition is going to be big for everybody. Now, a little bit of underfloor storage here, a little bit more right under there as well. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2024 Ford Expedition. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, including getting our signature sound level reading, going 55 miles per hour. But first, let's go ahead and start with a hard acceleration to see what this engine is all about. Nice.
Definitely quick. Even up a hill. I mean, we're going up a pretty steep hill, guys, and
she's a big gal.
Yeah, this is big, but it's no match for the amount of power that you have on board. Now, of course, to remind you guys from the spec dump at the beginning, this is Ford's 3.5 liter EcoBoost twin turbo V6 engine. And this is going to come in 3 different tunes across the trim level structure. So you're going to begin with 380 horsepower. You move to 400 horsepower for your top end trim levels, but then you also have 2 special models that have 440 horsepower. Those are going to be the Timberline and the Stealth Edition model. We did drive that last year. I can't tell a huge difference.
Yeah.
I think 400 horsepower is really more than enough. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, you're not going to be disappointed going for this Platinum trim level and really wish that you just had 440 horsepower. Is it a little bit faster? Maybe just a little bit, but like Drew said, it's not a huge difference, that's for sure.
As I roll back on the throttle here, it's a good time to talk about the transmission. So we've got a 10-speed automatic transmission. This is the Ford and GM co-developed 10-speed automatic, and that means it's in a lot of different products.
Oh yeah.
And it's a great transmission. I'm glad they really combined resources to come up with this, because even though it has a lot of gears, it is not confused at all. You put your foot down, like from a rolling start like we were, it can drop as many as 4 gears at a time to keep you up to speed, and overall very happy with this.
Yeah, hands down one of the best transmissions that you can buy. Now, as far as how it's put to the ground, we have a standard 2-wheel drive across the board, optional 4-wheel drive. The Timberline model does have standard 4-wheel drive, so do keep that in mind. No problems getting this baby up to speed,
No.
That's for sure.
Of course, you know, back when they first put this 3.5 V6 in the Expedition, some people were like, oh no, there's no V8. When you're behind the wheel, you don't notice that at all. As a matter of fact, this does have, you know, more power than most configurations of the Tahoe and Suburban, and sounds really like a V8 as well,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
All right, now let's talk about the ride quality for this Expedition. I've been nothing but impressed with this Platinum version. We've driven several other versions of the Expedition, including the Timberline model, and this certainly has a lot better of a ride quality than that version. It definitely has the more luxury focus going on for this model. The seats are really comfortable, even though we have large 22-inch alloy wheels. It does a great job of soaking up the bumps. We have the adaptive dampers for this Expedition. Do keep in mind though, no air suspension is offered on any version for this model. So unlike the Tahoe and the Yukon, no air suspension is going to be offered.
Right, and in terms of the vibrations that you feel inside the cabin, you get some slight vibrations. I think this is just a little behind GM's magnetic ride control,
Yeah.
And then of course that does have the further option of the air suspension like Mason was mentioning.
All right, and let's get our signature sound level reading going 55 miles an hour in this Expedition. Very good. 54.4 decibels is our official sound level reading, going 55 miles an hour on our designated strip of road, and that certainly is very impressive. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up on my phone carconfections.com, because on carconfections.com we have all the vehicles that we've tested out on this channel, which is a lot, and I can compare this Expedition to a lot of its main rivals like the Tahoe. And how does that land? Well, that actually barely squeaks out the #1 position in the entire segment. That beat out the GMC Yukon Denali by 0.1 of a decibel. So very, very impressive sound level reading, that is for sure. If you compare it to the Timberline model, that's going to be a few decibels quieter. So definitely the Timberline has the louder off-road wheels on it. You're going to notice that difference coming to the Platinum. And another one of our elements is the Slam Dunk and Airball. We are from Kentucky after all. So Drew, why don't you kick us off with the Slam Dunk?
Slam Dunk has got to be the space. I mean, guys, this thing is absolutely enormous in all regards. And if you want ultimate space, this is the way to go. I mean, what more could you ask for? Let's just put it that way.
And as far as our Airball is concerned, it's got to be the price. You are paying for that space. Granted, this does have a lot of luxury features, but hint, we are at an above $90,000 price tag for this Expedition Max Platinum. So this is very much into luxury territory, that is for sure. And lastly, as far as warranty is concerned, we're looking at a 3-year 36,000 mile basic warranty, 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty, and they do not do complimentary maintenance. And let's talk pricing for the Expedition. So we're going to start at about $56,000 for the 2024 model year. Of course, this one is far, far from that $56,000 price tag, because we have the Platinum Max with pretty much every option that you can get. So this one, as tested, sitting at about $93,000. So certainly a very expensive vehicle. This amount of luxury and space doesn't come cheap. And that's where we're going to leave off on this in-depth review of the 2024 Ford Expedition Max Platinum. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your future SUV purchase decision, please pay us back by hitting that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're joining this Car Confections family, and we have a lot of fun on this channel, and we look at a lot of really cool cars that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on, so please subscribe. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We do really appreciate you. Also, if you haven't had the chance to check out our TikTok and Instagram pages, that would be a great way to support us, as well as going to our all-new website, carconfections.com. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.